Hello friends, I hope you all are doing great. I, CA Pujan Kapadia, welcome you all on my today's lecture of the subject Accountancy and Taxation. Before starting with the new part for today, I would just like to recall each and every topic that we have covered during our last lecture. So, the first thing I started at the time of telling you last lecture was there are basically two categories in which the taxes can be determined. You are well aware those were direct tax and indirect tax. I have explained you if the burden of the tax cannot be shifted, it is known as direct tax, where we took the example of my own self earning salary from the college. So the examples of direct tax are income tax, gift tax, etc. Second was indirect tax, under which we learned that if the burden can be shifted from one person to another, that is, the person who is paying the tax to the government and the person who is finally bearing the burden of the tax are different. That is, the burden is being shifted. Then such taxes are known as indirect taxes. The example of which were goods and service tax, custom duty, etc. We took an example of the jeans spent, how it was being manufactured by the manufacturer who paid the GST, then passed on to the wholesaler, passed on to the retailer, and finally the final burden of GST being borne by the final customers. So this was the basic idea of what is direct tax and what is indirect tax. Post which we have taken care of that there is income tax in India, but what all are the things that are governing income tax in our country? So we read Income Tax Act 1961, Annual Finance Act, rules, judgments, and circulars and clarifications. Moving ahead, I told you that you are supposed to learn the sections along with the subsections. And I just gave you the clue that all the definitions that we are going to study in this particular chapter are being defined under section 2. So it will be easier for you to at least remember the number of this section. We studied what is income, under which I was stressing on importantly 3 points. First was it should be a monetary return, that is, it should be in the form of money. Second, it should be received periodically, so that it should not be like that if you are receiving money for one time and then you are not receiving money at all, then it cannot be classified as income. There should be a periodic flow of monetary returns. And the third part is you should be receiving that amount from a definite source. It should not be like that, as I told you in the last lecture, that Mr. A is giving you some amount. After 3 to 4 years, you are receiving certain amount from Mr. B. No, there should be a definite source from where you are generating your revenues. So if all these three criteria are being classified, we know that it is an income. After which I explained you the two important words like what is inclusive and what is exhaustive, in which I explained you guys that inclusive is something in which from time to time, if you feel necessary, you can add certain points. So the definition of income, which is as of now containing totally 27 items, is inclusive in nature. It means if today, if I found something which is supposed to be added in the definition of income, I can add the same. If it was exhaustive, then the one that is given to you is full and final. You cannot add anything in this particular case. But in our case, the definition of income is inclusive. Next part that we studied was assessee. Who can be termed as assessee? There were 5 points under this point. First, any person who is liable to pay anything, any kind of tax, interest, penalty, will known as assessee. Second was if any proceeding, if any case is going on for assessment for his own income, that is for his own self, he will be the part of assessee. Third was if any proceeding is going on, if any assessment is going on for any other person. ऊपर क्या था for self, here it is for other person. Fourth was representative assessee, under which I gave you the example of minor and its parents. The income is being earned by the minor, so the tax liability is on minor. But since the income is clubbed, the income is added to the income of the parent. So parent will be termed as the representative assessee. And the last is assessee in default. I gave you the example. I was supposed to pay or deduct certain tax amount before a due date, but I failed to do so. Then I will be termed as assessee in default. So in any case, if I'm falling under any of the one criteria out of this five, I will be termed as an assessor. Next, we studied what is previous year, what is assessment year. Now I guess by now you would be much more expert than me. Previous year is the current financial year and assessment year is the year which is following the current financial year. Then we studied the technical definition. What is assessment year? It is the income in which the income of previous year is taxed. That year is known as assessment year. What is previous year? The year preceding the previous year. Sorry, the year which is preceding the assessment year is known as your previous year. The point that is written over here is, for example, I have set up a new business and what is going to be my previous year? So it is going to be considered from the date of commencement. I told you guys, for example, I am starting my business from 1st July 2020. Then the previous year is going to be 1st July 2020 to 31st March 2021. Previous year can be less than 12 months if it is a newly set up business. Then I gave you one additional example. If the source of income is not traceable at all, for example, I am earning my regular salary, but there is a deposit of rupees 1 lakh. I am not knowing from where I have received this particular income. Then the year in which the authority determined the actual source of that income will be considered as previous year for that particular 1 lakh rupees. I hope you are clear with this. And finally, we studied the general rule that the income of previous year is assessed to tax in the assessment year. That is, whatsoever I am earning in the previous year will be liable to tax in the assessment year. But there were certain exceptions. So we have studied 5 different exceptions to this rule. This is what we have covered till date. I hope you all are clear with what we have covered till now. Now let's move forward to the next topic. Friend, the topic is being read as person. Definition of person is being given under section 2, subsection 31. Now, I'm giving you something which is going to be of much more interest for you guys. Till now, there is not a single paper where a question has not come from this topic. So friends, I can say this is the most important topic for a short question for your VNSU examinations. What basically the paper style for this question is going to be, you will be given the name of 5 to 6 items. You need to classify that those items are falling under which category of person. You can well see on your screen, I have given 8 different categories of person. What you need to do is, you need to identify that particular item is falling under which of these 8 categories. For example, I am giving XYZ. XYZ is the name of the person, then it is going to be falling under the first point, that is individual. So like that, what we are going to do is, we are going to judge from the meaning that we are going to study today, that under which category the name is going to fall. So basically, this is going to be the question style that are going to ask to you. It may be of 2 marks or 3 marks depending on the paper style. So now, without wasting time, I'm going to start with the important question, that is the definition of person, which is defined under section 2, subsection 31. The first line read as, person is an inclusive definition. Can you recall the word now? Inclusive means you can add something to this definition. But as of now, there are 8 points that I have written over here. But if you feel like adding something, then it can be added by the appropriate authority. So this definition is again an inclusive one. Now let's understand each and every category that I have written over here. The first category is individual. What do you mean by individual? It is the natural persons, the living human beings like me, like you, like any film star, like any cricketer will be falling under this example. For example, if I say the name of Virat Kohli is an individual. If I take the name of Amitabh Bachchan is an individual. I am an individual. You are an individual. So basically, all the natural persons come under the head of individual. It is simpler, fine. Let's move on to the second point. HUF, that is Hindu Undivided Family. Now, if something comes up in your question paper, joint family of Mr. X and his children, but the word written over here is joint family, then you are directly going to put it in the category of HUF, that is Hindu Undivided Family. I guess all of you might have studied what is HUF, Karta, and everything about the same. In text, we are not going to go in detail as of now for that particular part. What my task as of now is to explain you what the question can be like and how you are going to categorize the same in your exam paper. So if anything comes up like joint family of Mr. X and his children or family of Mr. Y and his sons, it is going to be the part of Hindu Undivided Family. The trigger over here is family. I hope I am clear with the second point. So the first was individual, all the natural persons like you, me, cricketers, actors, etc. are going to be the part of individual. Second is HUF. Keyword over here is family. Let's move on to the third point. Company. If anything is written after the name which read as limited or private limited, it is for sure going to be the part of the company. So if any word comes like for example, Reliance Industries Limited, ABC Private Limited, it is going to be fall under the category of company. There are certain well-known companies like Reliance, Tata, etc. Now you might be aware, you should have that general knowledge that you should know, even if the word limited is not printed, you should be well aware that these are the company and so they are going to be a part of this category, that is category of company. But the trigger as a student is the word limited or private limited. Let's move on to the fourth point, that is firm. Basically, it is a partnership firm. The name that will be coming in front of you would be like Messrs. X and Brothers, Y and Sons. So if you get something like this, X and Brothers, Y and Sons, where there is no mention of the word family, then it is going to be the part of your firm, that is your partnership firm. So many times students get confused between HUF and firm. The simple trigger that you need to remember as a student over here is if you find the word family or joint family, it is going to be part of HUF. But if there is no mention, it is directly given as Messrs or directly given as X and Brothers, Y and Sons, it is going to be the part of your partnership firm. I hope you were aware about all these 4 points. So you just need to understand where you are going to select any one out of this 4 category. Now let's move forward. I have told or I have mentioned the two words AOP, Association of Persons, and BOI, that is Body of Individuals, in the last slides, in the last lecture. I have told you that I am going to explain it in the next session. So today is the day I am going to explain this here. What is AOP basically? What is Association of Persons? First point is it is formed voluntarily. So it is not like that it is written in some act, so I have to form it. It is formed totally voluntarily. It is not a compulsory formation. So first point is it is formed voluntarily. Second is any person can be its members. So it is not necessary only individual or natural persons can be members. Any of the category out of this 8 can be the part of the association of person. So you can say there can be the AOP of a company and a firm. Yes, they can enter into a agreement of association of persons. The second point is any person can be the member of AOP. Third point is it is formed for a common purpose. There should be a common purpose for which all the persons are joining and becoming the member of AOP. So basically there are 3 identifiable criteria of what AOP is all about. First is it should be formed voluntarily. That is, there should be no compulsion in law for its formation. Second, anyone can be its member. There can be a partnership firm, there can be a company, there can be a HUF, any person. And third is there should be a common purpose, a common goal for which AOP is formed. There are certain examples that I have written over here. Chamber of Commerce, you might be aware about this thing, fine. The main purpose of Chamber of Commerce is to promote, facilitate trade and commerce in a particular region. So Chamber of Commerce is formed voluntarily. Any person can be its members and the common purpose is the growth of the trade and commerce in that particular region. So Chamber of Commerce is an example of association of persons. Next is any kind of cooperative housing societies. We all live in certain residential societies. Each one of us would be probably living into a society which might have been designated as a cooperative housing society. Again, it is not formed under any law. It is a voluntary formation. Any person can be its member And the common purpose is to take care of the interest of all the members of the housing society. So if you come across any example, XYZ Cooperative Housing Society, you are going to place it under the category of association of persons. Third is clubs. Any clubs which are formed, for example, book club, it is formed voluntarily. Any person can be its member, and why it is formed? For a common person to inculcate the habit of reading, for which I have formed a book club. So any club will also be the part of association of person. I hope I am clear with the topic of association of persons. Moving ahead to the next part, that is BOI, that is body of individuals. Now let's see the difference. In association of person, it was written it is formed voluntarily, but over here it is written it is formed by operation of law. So body of individuals is not formed voluntarily. There is certain law which directs the formation of body of individuals. So first point, it is formed under any law. Second is only individuals can be its members. As the name suggests, here what is written? Body of individuals. So only the person of category 1 can come together to form body of individual. Here it was written association of persons. Person means any of these 8 categories. So anyone can come and form AOP, but in case of BOI, only individuals can form and they can be only the members. Since last few years, there is a common name that is being asked over here. So I would just request all of you to learn this particular name. If this name comes across in your exam, that is ATIRA, Ahmedabad Textile Industries Research Association. It will be the part of body of individuals. This is nothing. You need to learn this particular name. ATIRA is a body of individual. So I hope you are clear with the difference. In AOP, it was formed voluntarily, while in BOI, it is formed under law. In AOP, any person can be its member. In BOI, only individuals can be its members. Let's move to the next point. Point number 7, local authority. In this, we are going to cover basically the municipal corporation. For example, we are living in Surat city. We are having SMC, that is Surat Municipal Corporation. Now, SMC is an example of local authority. Any Nagar Palika is also going to be the part of local authority. I hope I am clear. So any jurisdictional authority which are under a part of government body, you can say sub-government body, are going to be the part of local authority. Let's move to the last part, artificial jurisdictional person. This all are also a person, but they are artificial person formed under any jurisdiction. Now let's see what are the example of it. Any university, for example, let's take an example of VNSU, Veer Narmad South Gujarat University. It is an example of artificial juridical person. Let's take any high school, any school in which you have studied are also the example of artificial juridical person. So if you come across any name of the university or any name of the school, commerce school, science school, any school, they are going to be the part of artificial juridical person. So friends, I hope you are totally clear with the 8 classification of the person that I have taught you under section 2, subsection 31. What we are going to do now is, I am first of all going to give you 1 minute in which you can go through the entire slide, and then I am having 5 MCQ questions on this topic in which I'll be providing you one name and you need to identify under which category it is going to be a part of. So first of all, just go through the entire slide and then I'll be giving you the introduction about the MCQs. Well, friends, I hope you are clear with this entire slide. Quickly, let's revise the entire slide in a minute. First of all, the first category was individual, which means any natural person. Me, you, Virat Kohli, Amitabh Bachchan, any natural person are going to be the part of individual. Second is HUF. If you come across the word family of Mr. X and Mrs. X or Mr. X and his children, it is going to be the part of HUF. Third is company. The trigger word was ended by limited or private limited. It is going to be the part of the company, like Reliance Industries Limited, Tata Steel Limited. All these are the example of company. Fourth is firm, that is your partnership firm. When you come across anything starting with Messrs, X and Brothers or Y and Sons, they are going to be the part of your partnership firm. Next comes AOP, Association of Persons. First point, it is formed voluntarily. Second is any person. Any means any person out of this eight category can be its member. And it is formed for a common purpose. For example, Chamber of Commerce, as I told you, for facilitating trade and commerce in that particular region. Cooperative housing societies to protect the interest of the housing society members. Clubs, for example, book club for reading purpose, etc. BOI, body of individuals, formed under any law in force. Only individuals can be its members. And we have learned this word, ATIRA. ATIRA is an example of body of individuals. Next is local authority. That is any semi-government organizations like SMC, municipal corporations, Nagarpalika would be the part of local authority. And last is artificial juridical person. That is any university, any school you take are going to be the part of artificial juridical person. So friends, I hope you are very well aware about this particular topic. And now let's start with the test your knowledge series. There are 5 MCQs. I'll be providing 25 to 30 seconds per MCQ. You need to mark correct answer and keep it ready along with you. After completion of all the 5 MCQs, we are going to discuss each of them. I hope you are ready for the same and your time starts now. Well, friends, I hope you are all set with your correct answers. So let's take a quick look over the right answers. The first question was Reliance Industries Limited. I hope you might have catched the trigger word. Fine. Limited is an example of company. As I told you, if we are having any word which is followed by limited or private limited, the answer is going to be company. The correct answer is option B, company. Question number two. VNSU is an example of. I just let you know if we come across any educational institute in the form of university or in the form of any school, it is going to be artificial juridical person. So the correct answer is option C. Third, we have learned this particular thing intentionally. Atira. Atira is an example of option A, body of individuals. What was body of individuals? Which is formed under any law which is in operation. And second point, under which was basically only individuals, that is natural persons can be its members. And we have learned Atira is one of the example of body of individuals. Question 4 readers, XYZ Housing Society is an example of, I told you, if we come across any cooperative housing society, it is definitely going to be the association of persons, which means what was association of person? First of all, it is being created voluntarily. There is no law required to form that. Second point is any person. Any means any person. It can be a firm, it can be a company. Any person can be its member. But the third important point was there should be a common purpose, common object for formation of AOP. So the correct answer to this particular question is option D, association of persons. Last question, that was question number 5. Messrs A and Brothers is an example of, I told you, if anything comes like this, prefixed by Messrs A and Brothers, Y and Sons, it is definitely going to be the partnership form. So the correct answer is option A, form. If we come across any word like family of A and Brothers, here the word was family, then the answer would have been HUF. I hope you are clear with this distinction. I hope all of you might have got your answers correctly. So for today, I would like to take a pause over here, and I feel and I would insist basically to learn and go through this topic in such a manner so that you can easily answer any question asked from this particular topic. With this, I, CA Pujan Kapadia, thank you all for your patient listening and hope to see you all to see soon in my upcoming lecture. Thank you, friends.